Welcome back in, guys. Get a winner last night in the football game. Our biggest bet of the day, 3 units, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We had a loser on the total. You guys, in the Steelers game, you guys know the situation there. Book screwed us, not voiding those bets. And then as far as NBA, Spurs, really close to backdooring that number. They brought it all the way back within 6. That would have put us in the green for the evening. Slight losers, not being able to hold on there. We do get a total win with the Knicks and the Magic. That's what went down on our card last night for the Monday MLK slate. Really short card we have going on today. We'll start touching in on these divisional round games, the 8 teams remaining heading on into the playoffs next weekend. And we'll recap a little bit of yesterday. John, Eagles, Cowboys, NFC, both down. And we're going to have either Brock Purdy, Jordan Love, not CJ Stroud, Jared Goff, or Baker Mayfield representing the NFC. Everyone's QBs of the future right there.
So you got a couple of young kids, and you got a couple of cast off. Baker Mayfield, 4th team now, in how long? Carolina, Rams, found a home at Tampa Bay. Great job yesterday. Nothing we didn't expect yesterday in that game. Been saying it for a while. Philly is a lost team. 1-5 straight up, 0-6 down the stretch. Lose your best wide receiver, one of the best in the league, and you want to lay a figure. Guys, it's a lot of this is common sense. I'm not that smart. I'm no I'm no Houdini here. Again, we went with Houston, the team that had the least turnovers against the Browns, the team with the most turnovers, a team that didn't play well on the road, and we're taking a field goal at home. Same thing with Tampa Bay. Red hot Tampa Bay team winning out down the stretch. I think they're 5-1 down the stretch against a team that's 1-5, 0-6 against the spread down the stretch. A hurt quarterback had his fingers smashed without your best wide receiver. Don't try to reinvent this into some bigger thing. Look for these micro statistics. It's really that simple. You could see where there's value. As far as the basketball game, I don't want to say I'm shocked with the Spurs. Disappointed would be the word. This is why it's tough to bet the bad teams and why you get value with the bad teams, because you just can't say, I can't believe they didn't come with a game. It's an afternoon Martin Luther King Day. It's always a weird day. The day games are always a weird day, a game for all these kids that are used to playing at nighttime. 80%, 90% of their games are nighttime games. But they just came with a 0. Wembanyama had a game. I mean, this kid, you could just see it getting better and better, and he's getting better. So the Spurs, 12 for 18 from the field, another monster. Totally let down by the 2 next best players on the team, Vassell and Kay Johnson. What did we get? A combined 3 for 22 out of them? I mean, that's unacceptable. Guys, give us a 4 for 22 and we'll take a push out of it. I mean, that was just absolutely brutal, but it is what it is. That was our loser there. NFL, all I can say is this is we would have had a sweep this week. The books really gave us one with this total. If you saw our Instagram page in the story, we put what Buffalo looked like at 12 a.m. at 12 noon Sunday and what it looked like 12 noon Monday. Basically a whiteout on Sunday with ridiculous wins. That's what we're betting under for. It was a weather bet, nothing else. It was a weather bet, as I said in my chat, because a couple of guys had asked, and I believe I said it here yesterday. My number on the total on a field like yesterday would have been 40.5. So really got screwed there, or would have had a sweep. Nice little job with the other total and the 2 home dogs. Nice and easy. NBA just still struggling to make it happen. San Antonio didn't do it right for us. We'll see if we can get anything going today. 3 games, and I don't have a bet, and we'll get into it in a little bit, and that'll explain why.
Yeah, we can go ahead and stick with NFL, and then we'll touch on the NBA games on the stretch. Big injury day in the NBA, guys. So you're going to hear us talk about that a lot. A lot of our NBA sides, if we have any today, if we have any edge, that'll be discovered later on today. Make sure you sign up on the app or the website to get that updated information as we get there. 8 teams remain in the NFL. Matchup set, lines are set. We can start to touch on that, just initial reactions, everything else. The books, I mean, they're just not giving any respect to the rest of the NFC. They have the Niners plus 175 to win the Super Bowl. Your next 3 favorites are all AFC teams. Then you have the Lions plus 900 to come out and win the Super Bowl. They'll be the next. And we see on Saturday, we get 2 big favorites with the 1 seeds to minus 9.5 or 10, depending on your book there, with San Francisco and Green Bay. And then Baltimore, 8.5, 9. Been bouncing around those 2 numbers pretty much the whole last 24 hours or so. Big favorites for a damn good reason, John. I know your numbers are pretty close to that as well.
Pretty close. You take Houston. I've got them rated 9. I got Baltimore rated 9 points better at home than I do Houston on the road, and that basically is the line, 9 or 9.5. Give Baltimore a little extra edge. They had the bye week. Again, same similar situation as the 49ers are going to have. It's more like 2 bye weeks as they sat all their key starters the week before on week 18 against the Browns because they had already clinched the number 1 seed. So really a really rested team going against Houston, who had to play a must-win in week 18, and then obviously win at home against the Browns. Now, Houston was just in this situation against the Browns where the Browns rested all their guys, and still they came up with the win. So is it the rested teams? Does the rest give you rust? Is it the team that's hot that continues to play? And that's the debate. And so we saw 2 of those situations this week. With those games, we'll see another couple this coming week. But again, give Baltimore a little bit more. I'm closer to the 10 number on this game, but just not enough to lay for me. This number would have to go down a little bit. Love what Stroud did. Just that second playoff game, a lot tougher when that other team's had a couple of weeks at the end of the season. My number's 10 on this game, and right now I won't do anything.
Yeah, you touched on, obviously with the Browns and the Texans, the big thing was turnover discrepancy. First in the NFL, 14 turnovers. Last for the Browns in turnovers. Ravens led the NFL in forcing turnovers. So that's going to be interesting if they can get to that. Last meeting was week 1. They met, and Ravens ended up getting it done there. Obviously, rookie QB, first game of the season, going up against, the best defense in football, led the NFL in sacks, points allowed, and the forcing turnovers. Considering he was sacked 5 times, no interceptions, pretty good first game in the NFL, and he built on it from there.
Yeah, first week, first game for the rookie, a new coach, just a whole different world. I think that was 25-9 at Baltimore. Yep. We've got a couple of those revenge games, all of them basically except Green Bay and San Fran have met this year. So you can figure that in too. But again, still going to keep my number at 10. Again, weather in January, Baltimore, don't know what you're up against. So we'll be looking for weather. Your 2 key spots will be Baltimore and Buffalo for this weekend.
And then the 2 Sunday games we can touch on here as well. Like you said, these are both considered revenge games in some
Before
sense.
we touch that, just let me hit on Green Bay because Green Bay, if especially my Master Reg members might see that line looks a little lower because I've only got San Fran rated 8.5 points or 8.5 points better at home than on the road. But this is a big difference here. This is going to be Green Bay's now 4th road game in the last 5 weeks, coming off another road game. Obviously, a big win at Dallas. And as I said, 49ers basically 2 weeks off. So this is a big spot. And again, that the number say 8.5, the base number. But again, this is more of a 10 number. I'm basically 10 on the 2 games for Saturday.
Yeah, and 2 Sunday games, Bucks, Lions. Obviously, like we said at the start, you kind of have the comeback stories of Goff and Mayfield. That's going to be a great game. We'll see how that shows up. They did play back in week 6. Lions won 20-6 at Tampa Bay. Baker couldn't get anything going in that game. But really, the game of the week and pretty much, this little rivalry that's been cooking up the last 4 or 5 years, Chiefs, Buffalo. The last 5 meetings have all been in Kansas City. 3 of those in the regular season. Bills win all 3. 2 of those in the postseason. Chiefs win both of those. Now this will be the first meeting of the last 5 in Buffalo. And we're going to have one hell of a game coming up this week. Obviously, what was that, week 14, I believe, where there was the Tony offsides call and the Kelsey lateral that killed a bet for us. So definitely a revenge factor, definitely a rivalry, has everything cooking up. Sunday night game. We're in for a good one this week.
Yep. So that game, Steelers went up 21-0 yesterday. And as soon as they did, FanDuel put a line out. And they came out with their line for this game at Bills 3 minus 105. And you guys can go check in the story. I put it up for our Massa Edge members. They know as soon as they did that, I put up my number, okay, is the Bills 2.7 points better at home than they are on the road. And this is what differentiates me from anybody else out there that calls themselves a handicapper, because they're not really handicappers. The guy's giving you picks. Handicapper makes a line. So my ratings exactly basically what FanDuel is. I'm 2.7. They're 3 dog money, telling you they're not fully at the rate. Now, again, just the base number, and as Ben said, you may want to figure in a little home revenge that Casey had. Yeah, we had that one. That was a tough L to take. Casey getting better. That defense looks great. But you could say Buffalo's got some revenge too.
Oh, yeah.
As every time in the playoffs, when it really counts, it looks like Mahomes is beating them. A tough game. But hey, if you can take more than a field goal in this game, that's almost an automatic, because you can see this game coming down to the wire as they usually do. We'll get into that one a little depth, just so you guys know. This is what my ratings say on that particular game. 2.7, 3 dog money, or 2.5 favorite money is 2.7.
Yep, and that's really, really sharp lines in the NFL all season long. But really, when it comes down to the playoffs, they have 4 matchups coming up, and they can, have all the time in the world to be really fine-tuned on those numbers. That's where these lines get really sharp. So far, no NFL bets on the divisional round. Things could change. Few injuries on a lot of these games that we're going to be keeping eyes on. Baltimore could be getting a Mark Andrews back. We'll see how that pans out. So we'll keep you guys up to date throughout the week as some NFL news changes. Highly doubt any of these numbers are going to move more than a half a point either way. We'll see where they go. And then we can touch on these NBA games we have going on today.
Before we do, let's talk a little bit about yesterday. We did touch on that San Antonio, but a few other things I want to touch on. We've been talking about the Golden State demise of the dynasty. Mm-hmm. So they get Draymond Green back. They played him off the bench. He did play okay in his minutes there. But they lost to a Grizzly team yesterday that has no Ja Morant, no Marcus Smart, no Desmond Bane. That's how far the mighty have fallen. From this point on, it could get ugly for Golden State. You can see the disgust in Kerr's face in his press conference following the game yesterday. So that was one thing I noticed yesterday. If you guys were here yesterday, I mean, this is the NBA this year. Pelicans, Mavs played a 2-game series, and Pelicans rested 4 of their top 5 scorers in game 1. Zion, Ingram, McCollum, and Murphy, who comes off the bench, gives them 14 plus a game. Obviously, they won that game. They played everybody yesterday, and obviously I said they're going to win, and the Mavs did. The Mavs beat them with everybody, lost to them. So this has been your NBA. Whatever you think's going to happen, does it. Yesterday, Butler comes back. I believe he'd missed 10 of 11 games. They go in overtime. Jimmy Buckets plays 41 minutes. This is something you don't expect. You want to ease these guys back in. You think he has a great game. He goes off yesterday and is the only reason that they wind up taking a W in Brooklyn yesterday. So another thing that I couldn't believe. Detroit.
That game with the Heat and the Nets, they didn't crack 200 on the total with overtime. 96-95. Crazy low-scoring game.
Yeah. Look, Miami has turned up the D in their last few games. We talked about it yesterday, a couple of their games against offensively challenged teams like Charlotte, like Orlando. But that they held the Nets, I believe, to 34% shooting again. playing great ball. Our trends just keep falling. Detroit had lost 14 straight at Washington.
Yeah.
They go there without their top two scorers. Kate Cunningham out, Bogdanovich out. They just traded away Bagley and Livers. Of course they beat the Wizards straight out. This has been your NBA this year. That's why I laugh as I see any of these kids talking to you about locks and guarantees.
One thing that might be a lock so far, though, in 2024, Utah Jazz at home, 9 straight, book it, do it again last night against Indiana. They're climbing up the West. Watch out, they're climbing up the West. I know you said it early on in the season when they had a rough start. You were much higher on Utah, and they're starting to come back to that. Now ahead of the Lakers in the 9th seed, inching up a half game behind Phoenix and trying to catch up there, maybe get into that top 6.
Well, Ben liked Utah in this game yesterday. I liked Indiana because I just think they overboard on Utah, and I'm big on Utah myself. I just thought they brought it to that stress. But Indiana, besides Halliburton, they were also down Naismith and Brown. So another 2 guys, another 2 rotation players on the back end of a back-to-back. So that's the reason I did not go out and bet on Indiana. But, yeah, Utah looking real. I mean, they're on a ridiculous run right now, and they're just slaughtering teams that are coming into Salt Lake City. Best home record against the spread in the NBA. And they look playing great ball. Lakers come up with a big win. That was a big win for them to beat OKC yesterday.
Huge.
Going into yesterday, I believe they were 19-21, same exact record as this time last year. Then they put together that run at the end of the year. We talked about it, made some trades. I still think they're going to need to do something. We talked a little bit about it yesterday. DeJounte Murray may be a good fit for that team just to take them up a notch because right now they're behind that top 4. My top 4 there, as far as I'm concerned, not in the standings. It's Clippers, it's Denver, it's Timberwolves, and OKC. All those are your top 4. The Pelicans got to go down a notch after losing that game yesterday. Yeah. Look, that's guys. These are why we use these trends that we do. When we talk about last of a trip, and yesterday was last of a trip for Pelicans, and it's just you got to always keep in mind these are kids in their 20s or early 30s. An 8-game, 10-game road trip. Well, we're going to talk about Sacramento being on the 5th and last game of an 8-day road trip today. Just want to get off that road. It's a tough road. Airplane, hotel, arena, hotel. It's a tough little grind. So yeah, they fell down yesterday, but I've got them a clear 5th. Golden State added a picture, and then you're going to have your fill-in teams. And the Jazz are making a move up there. Jazz.
They're going to catch Golden State tomorrow in one of those beautiful last game of a road trip spots, and they can make it 10 in a row there on the home games.
Man, Golden State has got I don't even know if they're showing up for tomorrow. I'll be honest with you. You will see what Golden State's made of. I think we saw it yesterday at Memphis. I think it's over. Like I said, I think it could get ugly. But we'll really see tomorrow if they come with anything with heads hanging low. Dre was abusing everybody, his own team, basically. You got guys, G.G. Jackson shooting the lights out against a Golden State team just a couple of years removed from a world championship. So here's where we are. This is the state of basketball. Things change every day. As you guys know, it's all about the injuries and who's hot now. Same thing as football. It's what we talked about yesterday. If you guys read, then please read the previews. For my Master Edge members, please read the previews. I said in the preview, 2 teams going in different directions, talking about the Tampa Bay game. And it's just what it is. One team hot, one team not. Again, have guys asking me, John, the total's now 38.5. Is it a 3-unit bet? This talking about the Buffalo game. Like, how could it be? Did you not read the preview? It is a weather under. Only because of the weather we were making that bet. Well, I would go over, if anything. I told you my total's 40.5. So, guys, read the previews. This is a sports betting information service, not just sending you out bets. Yes, we want you to win your bets, but please utilize everything else, the previews, the ratings. Again, just the way we show you, there is no better ratings. FanDuel might as well have been using my ratings when they send out their lines.
Yep. One more thing I want to touch on what you said before about the Lakers, how they've been playing. I think it's 6-12 since the in-season tournament. They're definitely not close to that, what they were at the end of last season. The interesting is, though, you've mentioned the top four, OKC and Clippers, both in there as 3-4, whatever you want to put them in there. They got wins over them lately. I mean, that's they can play with the best of them. We see them in the in-season tournament. They turn it up a notch when games matter. I am interested to see what that tweak they might make to the roster, whether they bring in a guy like DeJounte Murray or whoever. But it's how healthy will they be come April, May? Can they still turn it up a notch when they get into these series and face those good teams? But they have good records against good teams.
And those two games also at home in LA, where on the road, 6-14, the Lakers. Guys, you got to win on the road. You got to be able to win on the road. That's the difference between good teams and bad teams. You got to be able to win on the road. Lakers just not getting it done. Doing okay at home. They don't cover there either, but at least they're winning games, as Ben mentioned. Those two games, big game for them last night.
Yep.
And a big game tonight, obviously, against the Clippers in a game that we thought the Clippers would get them. They thought those are the two games they've pulled out, not playing well, as Ben said, since the in-season tournament. Maybe they thought that was their championship to win. Look, they've been a little nicked up since then, missing games here and there. Hachimura, Russell was in and out of the lineup. Now it looks like Reddish is out. He's going to miss another couple of games. Health is everything. The teams that stay healthy are your teams that are winning. Look where the Jazz were a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
They get Markkanen, Clarkson back, and look where they are now. I mean, this is like two totally different teams. Obviously, when you're missing your top two guys, this is what happens.
Yeah, another stat, I think NBA in Depth, that Instagram page posted it. Utah Jazz now 11-0 when Talon Horton-Tucker doesn't play. He's been getting benched the last several games, so maybe there's something to that as well. We talk about players, being negatives to the team, negative and positive through subtraction, and that's kind of what that's been a bit.
There's no question about it. And then you can get some guys that are putting up tremendous stats. That's why I always tell you guys I love to look at that plus-minus column. Give me the guy that's always on the right side of that column, or it still could be a minus. But if you got blown out by 15, but you're a -3 and everybody else is a -22 and a -19, you could say that guy's doing his job. That's kind of what we're loving about the Anunoby trade. OG, since he got traded for, this guy's plus, I believe it's 125 now or higher in the 8 games. He's just about, if not the highest plus minus every day, one of the best. Even in their loss yesterday, he was on the plus side.
And that's what's been going on a bit in the NBA. Let's touch in on these 3 games going on tonight. A lot of injuries, like we said at the start. Nuggets, Philly starts it off. 5 starters questionable for Denver. Embiid, he comes back, didn't miss a beat after missing several games, 41 points, 10 rebounds in just 31 minutes. And he kept that streak. Now 16 games, 30-plus points, 10 rebounds. Embiid's questionable. Jokic and the rest of the Nuggets starters are questionable. Who the hell knows who's playing? Who the hell knows what the line should be without knowing who's playing? So, we can't give you guys much more on this game. John, I don't know if anything you're looking at here. Could be an under game if there's a lot of guys out. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, so we got Denver. Denver's next game after today is against the Celtics. So I don't know if they're sitting everybody for the Celtics or they're all questionable. The entire 5 starters are listed questionable. So really nothing we can do with this game. And as Ben said, you got Embiid coming back after missing a ton of time. Shaq that even played 31 minutes. I thought they'd want to just get the rust off. Looks like they left him in to get that 10th rebound so he can continue that streak. 31 minutes. Do you bring him in a back-to-back after missing time? This is the state of the NBA. It wasn't supposed to be like this. If a star was going to sit, you're not going to have 2 stars sit. Throw all that bullshit out the window. They're doing whatever they want to do. All 5 Denver Nuggets starters are questionable, and Joel Embiid, reigning MVP, leading scorer in the league this year, also questionable. How can we give you analysis on a game not knowing if who's going to be playing the game? So we'll skip over this one. Stay in tune, guys. We're on top of the injuries. We'll get them out to you as soon as possible.
Then we have Kings at Phoenix. Keegan Murray, the only question mark here right now for Sacramento. Kings coming off a tough game at Milwaukee. They're on 5th and final game of an 8-day trip. They were down big. They were down as much as 13, I believe it was, in the fourth quarter. Come all the way back, tie and force overtime. Then they go up by as much as 7 in overtime, and they let that one go. Damian Lillard hits the classic Dame time, falling away buzzer beater. That's a tough loss there for Sacramento. They're 3-1 against the spread on this trip, though. And then you have this Suns team playing a little bit better. We saw that depth kind of play. In fact, a little bit at Portland. 4 scored 20-plus. Booker, very efficient, 34 points. Still, though, Phoenix just 3-11 against the spread their last 14 home games. You have a team that covers on the road and one that doesn't at home. Got to be looking here, Sacramento or nothing. They've had some success here. They've won and covered the last 4 meetings.
Yeah, look, the spot looks inviting for Sacramento. Big number, but as Ben said, 5th and final game of an 8-day trip. The last one an OT one, and they'll have Murray questionable. Just a tough spot for a Phoenix squad needing W's. We got a little double revenge spot here for Phoenix. Yep. I'm hesitant to say they're playing better. I mean, they beat the Lakers in a game that was a triple revenge spot at LA, and then they went up to Portland. Portland played with nobody. If you think Memphis was bad yesterday, Portland played with absolutely nobody. They're going to all be questionable. Going to tomorrow also, and they still couldn't cover. So Phoenix in this spot. Spot belongs to Phoenix, but the number is a little high. We'll see what the question is with Murray. I just don't want to have Sacramento in this spot. These last games of trips over a week just could be a total letdown, especially after losing that overtime Milwaukee. With that being said, no way in the world I'm laying Phoenix. Sacramento is your best against the spread team in the NBA on the road over the last 2 years. Tied for best record right now with the Mavs this year on the road. Best against the spread record on the road last year.
And the last game on this very, very short card, Thunder at the Clippers. Thunder back-to-back. They lose to the Lakers last night. SGA ended up playing 34 minutes. He was questionable all day yesterday. Is he going to play today? Waiting to see. And then you have this Clippers team going to be without Zubac, so they're going to be a little bit undersized. They've been playing pretty solid ball, but they're coming off that loss there against Minnesota. Clippers, as far as what they've been doing at home lately, they have been great. They're 11-1, 7-5 against spread last 12 home games. Matchup history, OKC been getting them lately, 4-1 the last 5, but Clippers get them in LA, 9-1 the last 10. This has got to be a look here. A little bit of a lean here to the Clippers. Got to see what's going on with SGA. If SGA ends up being ruled out, just lay the points with the Clippers. Also interested in the props here for Holmgren. Holmgren's had some big games. He's taken advantage of these teams who struggle with the interior. Charlotte, Washington, for example. He had a big game against the Wizards the other week. This could be a look tonight for his props without Zubac tonight.
Got to pay attention to injuries here. Back-to-back, obviously no travel. They played the Lakers there last night, and as Ben said, right till a half hour before tip-off, SGA was questionable. He goes 34 minutes, so we're going to mark him questionable, and I wouldn't be surprised if everybody sits tonight. Clippers owe the Thunder one. In Oklahoma City, a few weeks back, the end of December, just before Christmas, was the first game that Kawhi missed, and Thunder handed it to them, 134-115. Clippers 9-1 their last 10 meetings in LA. They'll look to give it back tonight. From here, OKC is off tomorrow and then goes to Utah Thursday. So maybe a day to give a couple of guys a little bit of a break here. We'll look to see. If that's the case, to me, that's the only way that the Clippers would be a 6.5-point favorite right now. Again, back-to-back, but with no travel, could not make that number this high. I make the Clippers the best team in the West. They're coming off a loss at Minnesota. Excuse me, guys. Paul George, James Harden did not shoot well. It's just their second loss. I believe it's 14-2 now in games that Kawhi's played. So definitely a good spot for the Clippers. We'll wait to see who, if anybody, sits for the Thunder.
And that is the 3-game card, guys. Questionables in every single game. Big ones in Denver and Philly. And then SGA obviously makes a big swing on that line for the OKC Clippers game. Like I said earlier, if you guys want to be updated on those injuries later on today, sign up on our app or our website. And you'll also see if we make any bets on those or anything else coming up tomorrow. Massive slate tomorrow. You guys already know we're working on that and looking at those lines for those games.
Yeah, bro. Should we tell you guys what we got circled? There were a couple of games I will tell you that we're looking at. And then again, guys, this is what makes us different from everybody, okay? Because we really do this. We're already looking at the San Antonio Celtics. Yes, San Antonio was terrible, and KJ and Vassell, we said it, 3 for 22. Expect them to come with a better game. They're going to play the Celtics. My power ratings, this number, just off the numbers alone, is over 20. I got Celtics 20 points higher than the Spurs. But, as I just mentioned before, Celtics have the Nuggets next. They sat Brown out the last game. You could be assured that not everybody's playing, having the Nuggets the next day. San Antonio, Celtics went into San Antonio New Year's Eve and waxed San Antonio 134-101. So it's a little circle around San Antonio. Obviously, you got to have the right number. But again, we're on top of the games. Another game we'll be looking at: Knicks, Houston Rockets. Got to see about Brunson. But the Knicks have owned that matchup, winning the last 7 in a row by an average of 15.9 points per game, and the last 4 at the Garden. So again, we're all ready. We're waiting for DraftKings to put their numbers up, and we'll be ready to roll.
If you guys want to be on those as we start jumping on games today, check out the app or the website. Appreciate you tuning in. As always, like, comment, subscribe below, and let's make some money, John.
Let's make some money.